Okay, welcome to tonight's webinar. Tonight we'll be covering a lot of information, so thank you for those of you who joined us from last week. We apologize for any inconvenience, but we really just had a lot of information and wanted to address it in a time when we could really cover it and really get everything to you. This is the last webinar of those Skin 101 webinar series. So thank you to everybody who has supported this webinar series, and we hope you benefited from the information. I know I sure have. It's been a learning experience for myself. I've been a student of these webinars as well as just having a really great time. So I will, without further ado, I'll skip my big praising intro of Nisha that you hear every week, so you don't have to hear the whole thing. But really, I just want to thank Nisha for doing this webinar series. It's just been really fantastic, and she's just really a very dear friend of mine. It's an absolute pleasure to work with her, and I will turn the time over to Nisha.
Well, thank you, Jessica, and it's my great pleasure to be here as always, and thank you to all of you taking the time out of your busy schedule to join us for the last of our webinar series. I just want to extend a huge thank you to Jessica, who has taken, really put together, coordinated, done all of the legwork for these webinars, kept in contact with each of you, and so I want to just extend a great big thank you to her for all of her very, very hard work. And boy, I sure had a lot of fun. I always have fun, though, working with Jessica. She's one of my most favorite people in the whole wide world. So it's just my great pleasure to always be able to work with just a spectacular human being such as Jessica Barrett. So let's get into our first slide.
And Nisha, can I say something really quickly
here? Of course.
We do have some questions coming in, and tonight's call we will allow for as many questions as we can get to. So please, please, please send them in. I do see some questions have already come in. That is fine. What we'll probably do is wait until we get to the Q&A section, though, Nisha. Unless something really fits into
what we're already
talking about, we'll just go through the webinar and then address the questions when we get to the Q&A. But please don't hesitate. Send them in, and we'll get to them at the right time and place. And of course, as in previous webinars, if it's a content that would better be handled individually or one-on-one, we'll let you know that, and we'll follow up with an email or phone call. So, sorry, just wanted to.
No, I think that's great. Oh, okay. Hey, no technical difficulties, just doing a little switcheroo here. Okay. Now, it wouldn't necessarily be a Skincare 101 webinar without a quote.
No, it would not.
Oh, I'm sorry. We are having just a minor. It really wouldn't be one of our webinars without a minor technical difficulty either, would it? Oh,
there you go.
Why did it do that? I hit it twice. Oh, okay. Just another great quote that I love. The fatal mistake is waiting for life's circumstances to be right before we begin. Simply begin with your heart, look deeply into it, and trust what you feel. Practice knowing, and you will know.
Good quote, Nish.
Thanks, man. I really like that one. Okay, so let's move on to our syllabus.
Okay.
It converted it oddly. Sorry for the mix-up. That's an excellent slide. When we converted from Keystone to PowerPoint, obviously it did something odd with the conversion. But what we're going to be covering tonight is what to look for in your moisturizer, what to avoid in your moisturizer, modifications for optimized hydration. We're going to be reviewing the Glimpse Mineral Treatment, and also be covering Juni.
Perfect. So a lot of information tonight.
Okay, this is a slide that some of you have seen before, but I really like the information on this slide. I think it's really important, so you'll probably see me refer to it quite often. From your skincare regimen, this is what your skin needs in order to perform all of its processes with the greatest efficiency, and really to minimize the effects of aging. This is what your skin has to have, the type of support it has to have, and that is inflammation control. Of course, we need environmental support. We need barrier support. We've got to provide the skin with some growth factors. We need to stimulate microcirculation, and we also need to stimulate energy production. So that's what your skincare absolutely has to provide, bare minimum. So next slide.
And I know I saw one little question coming in, and also I wanted to bring this up, is Misha had actually gone into all these things that you see here in a previous webinar. What was it the last webinar we did?
I think it was your skin, but I brought this slide in a couple of times.
Okay, yeah. Last time I think you brought this in because she's tied this in within almost every single webinar. But we had a really long, she really went into depth, and I think it was 2 webinars ago, about what is a growth factor. Remember when I asked you that question?
Yes. If we go to the next slide, it answers a little bit, and then we can even go into it more. But what was the question?
Oh no, I was just going to say, because I'd seen a few questions come up, but to let you know that those are archived on the Glimpse blog. So if you want to go back and tie in the last 2 previous webinars, which covered the other Glimpse products, and they will cover this information more in depth, probably even from what Misha will cover tonight. You can access this on the Glimpse blog. So we'll talk about that later, but that answers one question.
Okay. I think I may have over-essential oiled myself. Sorry about that. Okay, so here are some ingredients to look for in your topical supplementation. Now, of course, Bioactive X3 is not available. Sorry, she's got the giggles. But Bioactive X3 is not available in any form, in any other formulation other than Glimpse. I think Bioactive X3 is incredible for your skin, so I think that you should always be utilizing formulas that contain Bioactive X3. Bioactive X3 helps to control inflammation in your skin. In addition to that, we have some other ingredients within Glimpse that help to really squelch the fire, I guess, so to speak, of chronic elevated inflammation in the skin, which is something that we all experience as we age. It's just part of aging. And that doesn't even go into any sort of, if you've had an incident where there's been increased trauma to the skin, such as a sunburn or any, a laser treatment, anything like that, that really can elevate inflammation in the skin. So, Bioactive X3, aloe, zinc, tocopherol, and by laser treatment, I didn't mean to say that laser treatments they aren't beneficial to the skin. They actually can be very beneficial, but they do, at least in the short term, increase inflammation. Ingredients that provide environmental support. Now remember, pollution, excessive UV exposure all increase inflammation in the skin. So of course Bioactive X3 is going to be helping with environmental support. In addition to that, we have candle tree extract that really helps protect your mitochondria, and we have zinc. Again, with your barrier support, Bioactive X3, niacinamide, glucosamine. If you want the specifics on niacinamide and glucosamine, they've actually been published many, many times in peer-reviewed articles and presented. So it's really easy to find a lot of information about niacinamide and glucosamine and the benefits that they can provide for your skin, in addition to some of the other ingredients that are found within Glimpse. As far as growth factors, when I talk about growth factors, I like to use amino acids for that. So we have glucosamine, carnitine. A non-amino acid type growth factor would be the microalgae extract that's contained within Glimpse. And of course, for the stimulation of microcirculation and energy production, again, Bioactive X3, niacinamide, candle tree extract, and carnitine.
And again, I'm just going to say this one more time. For those of you who may be new and wanting to know a little bit more information, what is Bioactive X3? What does Misha specifically mean by growth factors? Even looking at this, these were on, I think, the last webinar. She went into much more depth about this, if I recall. So yes, you can access those, and I know we've got a lot of information, or else I would start asking a lot of questions. But
no, we can cover. Let's cover some of. At least let's go over Bioactive X3.
Yes,
I think that's important. again, Bioactive X3 is solely owned by Zango, and it's really the driving force in Glimpse. There are 3 components to Bioactive X3, and they're all derived from the pericarp of the mangosteen. And it's really interesting. I think, you know, historically, there's a lot of information on how beneficial the mangosteen is for the skin, not only when taken internally, but also when applied topically. But it really is amazing how through biofermentation you can really optimize those desired qualities within the mangosteen and really help to make sure that we have those nutrients that are so beneficial for your skin really bioavailable, so the skin can utilize them very easily.
And the pericarp is, I mean, just kind of the rind, that inside the rind?
Yes, the rind of the mangosteen. Not the exterior, but the inside. Yeah.
Just for those of you who maybe knew or not know, I thought maybe, but I really was also just letting you know that there's other information available where I know you've covered this much more extensively. So,
yes.
You know me, I like to plug the webinars.
Ingredients to avoid in your moisturizer. Believe it or not, there are surfactants in many moisturizers. I know some of you may be thinking, what are you talking about, Nisha? But this is true. They use surfactants because especially sulfates are so effective at breaking down the skin. They actually are used for part of the delivery system in some of the moisturizers. So isn't that gross?
Yeah, it is.
It's counterintuitive. I mean, we're applying moisturizers and serums to help facilitate healing in our skin. And so to be applying ingredients that we know are damaging to the skin, it just really doesn't make much sense. Of course, occlusive ingredients. And when I say occlusive ingredients, I'm talking about heavy silicones, petrolatum, mineral oil, lanolin. I think I've even seen lanolin in still used, which is a little bit shocking to me. Excuse me. Of course, fragrance. There's no reason for fragrance to be in any skincare formula. It doesn't do anything. And of course, anything that promises results in seconds. And I always add that because anything that's promising to lift or diminish lines in a matter of seconds or even minutes is doing so by causing an excessive amount of inflammation and really causing swelling in those tissues, so it's therefore minimizing the appearance of sagging, fine lines, what have you. So not something you want to be applying to your skin. Next slide. So here are the ingredients that can be found in the Glimpse Moisturizing Cream. Again, Bioactive X3. You see that I have Bioactive Pericarp out to the side because that is in the trio, I mean all 3 of the bioactive complexes are contained within each formula of Glimpse, but it really, depending upon what we want that formula to do, we highlight a different complex. So for example, in the serum, the lead complex is the polymeric because we're really trying to saturate the skin with bioavailable antioxidants, whereas in the moisturizers, the highlighted bioactive complex is the pericarp, or the bioactive pericarp oil. Again, just not only for the beautiful nourishing hydration aspect of the ingredient, but also, again, for inflammation control. Shea butter, coconut oil, jojoba oil, botanical, alpha-hydroxy acids, and of course the algae extract that really helps to support energy production in the skin. That's super critical. As we age, energy production diminishes. It's very, very important that we're supporting those structures within the cell that, that will lead to increased energy production. If your skin isn't energized, there's no way that it's going to be able to function in the way that we want it to function. And then it's going to have, that's going to be translated in, lack of clarity, a loss of luminosity, not good tone and texture. Pore size will be exaggerated. So energy and the production of energy by those skin cells is critically important to really be achieving the results that you want with your skincare.
Nisha, can I ask you a question? I don't know if this is too simplistic, but could you, just looking at this, I thought maybe somebody who doesn't know a lot about skincare ingredients and is familiar, a lot of this makes sense, and you explained the bioactive X3 so well, but could you explain a little bit about alpha hydroxy acids, or people I'm sure are going to see AHAs, kind of why, a little bit of where they're derived from, or why they're used?
Well, they're derived from all sorts of botanicals.
Where Lints is derived from?
Well, they're derived from different botanicals and sugar. But they are, they're not chemicals, because ours are derived, I mean, they're all chemicals. I don't want to get into what's a chemical, right now. But they're derived from botanicals, as stated, but they are little extracts that really provide your skin with exfoliation. But it isn't a mechanical exfoliation like with a scrub or, you know, a brush. It's really, I'm trying not to use the word chemical because I don't want people to get freaked out. Oh my gosh, Squints has chemicals. I mean, but it's do you know what I'm trying to say? It's a chemical exfoliant. So having said that, but these are botanically derived. There are alpha hydroxys that are synthesized from petrochemicals. The reason that I think it's very important to point out that ours are botanically derived, besides the obvious benefit to the environment, it's better to use botanical alpha hydroxy acids. Multiple studies have shown that when you use a botanical alpha hydroxy acid to exfoliate the skin, in comparison to a chemically synthesized alpha hydroxy acid, you're encouraging a much less inflammation. So you're still getting all of the benefits of alpha hydroxy, which is not only exfoliation on the surface of your skin, but whenever we're exfoliating the surface of the skin with any sort of chemical, it stimulates collagen production. And so you're getting exfoliation, we're stimulating collagen production, but we're doing it botanically, so we're minimizing any sort of exacerbated inflammation by using a botanical alpha hydroxy as opposed to a chemically synthesized or petrochemically synthesized alpha hydroxy acids, which have multiple known negative side effects. Does that make sense?
It does make sense, and I know I get quite a few questions about people saying they've seen the word AHA or just wondering more about, you know, why they're used in the blends. So that's perfect. So thank you.
For exfoliation and also pore minimization. You know, there's many benefits. Helps increase clarity. Okay, so the Glens Moisturizing Lotion. Again, you'll notice that there are a lot of ingredients that are utilized within the cream and the lotion. It really comes down to the formula and just minor tweaking. And why is that? Because it doesn't matter if your skin prefers a lighter formula over a more, what's the word I'm looking for? Emollient, a more emollient formula, but your skin needs the same, all skin needs the same precursor nutrients. And so it's really about, you know, making sure that it's in a vehicle that the skin will accept, if that makes sense. So you'll notice that we have a lot of the same ingredients, which of course bioactive X3, highlighting again the bioactive pericarp, botanical alpha hydroxy acids. Now you are going to get more exfoliation with the lotion than you are going to be receiving with the cream. And that is due in part to not only the percentage of botanical alpha hydroxy, so there's more in the lotion than there is in the cream, but also the pH of the lotion is a little bit different than that of the cream. And so you're going to get a little bit more exfoliation. So if you tend to be excessively dry and you haven't used alpha hydroxy acids before, it's probably best that you start with the cream.
Oh, good tip.
Candle tree extract, shea butter, tocopherol, and again the algae extract. Energy production, again, is not only a huge trend in skincare, it's critical for the overall health of your skin.
Perfect. Thank you.
My pleasure. Okay, just we're going to be getting into modifications. I think this is always fun because there are endless modifications that you can be achieving with blends.
Yes.
But I think number one, there is not a wrong way to use glyphs unless you're letting one of the cleansers sit on your skin for 48 hours. I would classify that as a wrong way. I don't think anyone's doing that. I think you absolutely can let the cleansers sit on your skin and be utilized for a mask.
Yes.
And I've heard that some individuals are achieving great results even leaving it on overnight. But what is most important with your glimpse is to be using it morning and night.
Yes.
It's absolutely essential for your skin to be saturated with nutrients in the morning because it's going to go through the day. It's going to come in contact with a lot of environmental antagonists. We're also going to be maybe not doing the best things for it, like coffee or, you know, multiple
Stress, living.
Butterfingers. Anyway, your skin absolutely has to have topical support throughout the day. Just as important is that it has topical support in the evening because that is when it's going to be doing a majority of its repair work, and it's also going to be detoxifying. It's critically important that you're saturating your skin with those nutrients that it absolutely has to have, but in addition to that, it's really important that you're hydrating your skin, but that you're not suffocating it because, remember, it's detoxing, and it is part of the excretory system of your body, so it will be secreting. Things get secreted through the skin, and if you're blocking that pathway, it's going to lead to a host of problems, either diminished detoxification or congestion. So very important that you're not only getting the nutrients, but you're also hydrating your skin with a formula that allows it to function as it normally would and not inhibit it, which is, you know, let's be honest. Let's get into moisturizer talk for just a minute. I need to keep it very brief because of the additional information that we're covering this evening. But, you know, when you're using these occlusive ingredients, let's remember what those are, the silicones, the petrolatum, the mineral oils. It really is setting your skin up for what I would call an addiction, meaning that what happens is the underlying layers when you're using those occlusive ingredients, they think that the barrier's intact. And so not only do those repair systems get a little bit lethargic, they really stop performing as they should. Well, they get lethargic and they stop performing as they should. And so your skin gets more and more dependent on these occlusive ingredients. Additionally, they can be very, for lack of a better term, suffocating and lead to a tremendous amount of congestion in the skin and, again, really diminish the detoxification of the skin. So very important to be using hydrators that support your skin, stimulate natural moisturizing factor production from within the skin, and provide it also with the precursor nutrients that your skin absolutely has to have. Sorry, but that's very important. Again, let's hit on usage. Wow, this, especially with the moisturizers, really, I mean, go overboard. I'd say, Jessica, what do you use for your moisturization? I know you like the cream.
Yes, I use the cream, but I do, and this is just what I do. I don't want anyone out there thinking that this is what they have to do. It's just what I found really works for me, but I also have extraordinarily dry skin, as you know, Misha.
Yes.
So I do probably 3 layers of the moisturizing cream, and I do about 4 to 5 pumps in each layer. I don't use as much of the other product. I mean, I do the cleanser, but I don't use as much of that, and I choose to use the bulk of my product in the moisturizing cream. So I just put each layer on, let it absorb for just a second or, you know, maybe just a minute or 2, and then do another couple layers. So 2 to 3 layers, depending, or maybe sometimes just a little 3rd layer around my eye for some eye cream.
Yes, that's what I really like. Now I do 1 layer where it's half serum, half cream, and then I do another layer of just cream. And it's 4 to 5 pumps, but I've been known to use as many as 9 for my neck and my chest and my face. I mean, I really go over my neck a lot of time.
And do you want to talk, I mean, I don't know if this is a usage or modifications niche, but talking as to why that is, because I think we get that more than any question. Someone saying, my skin, it's just a lot drier when I use Glimpse. It doesn't feel the same as using a different cream. And then we find out sometimes they're using a pump or 2 pumps and trying to stretch it. Do you want to maybe not, why they're different, why they work so much differently?
Yes, and I think that's kind of what I was hitting upon with my little long-winded soliloquy. An ode to moisture. but yes, I'd love to. And I think, not only is it not using enough of the product, which absolutely, if you're going to be achieving those visible results that you want to see, it's essential that you're using enough of the product to achieve those results. It's better for you to use enough of one product and get the results that you want to, and then add in another product, more so than to use each of the formulas and not be able to use enough to achieve the results.
Yes.
That's my opinion.
Whereas, go ahead.
No, I was going to elaborate on the why. Yet another ode. But the reason that so many individuals feel that they're a little bit drier, in particular when they begin using Glimpse, is specifically because those occlusive ingredients have been eliminated. And it does take your skin a bit of time to get charged up enough that it starts realizing, oh, hey, wait a minute, we've been kind of just, slacking off, and we've got to get geared up and start really producing that barrier again.
And you're saying occlusive ingredients like petrolatum or something that just sits
mineral oil,
on the surface of the skin.
That mimics that barrier. So if you've got a barrier mimicker, ooh, I just made up a word.
Barrier mimicker.
Yeah, I know. But if you've got something that mimics a healthy, intact barrier, it's really at the long-term detriment of your skin, because your skin becomes addicted. It really does.
It stops doing the work
right,
that it's...
Exactly. And it's really, really important for your skin that it's creating its own healthy barrier. That's what keeps those underlying structures charged up. And I mean, to put it in a translatable term, they feel needed.
Yeah.
Your dermis needs to be needed. So let's talk a little bit about modifications. I covered one with my moisturizing routine. I like to mix the serum in with the moisturizing cream. Now, as we approach summer, I'll probably be switching out, at least during the daytime, my cream with the lotion. I'll always use the cream because I need it, especially for my neck and my chest. But for my face, I will probably switch out to the lotion for my daytime moisture and then use the cream around my eyes and then for my whole face in the evening.
Yeah, and I used to last summer? I mean, definitely in the fall, I went to just using my multiple layers of moisturizing cream. But last summer, I was using, especially when we were doing some traveling in more humid environments, I would do the lotion first and then apply a layer or two of the cream. It seemed to be a little bit more lightweight and a little more exfoliation, it seemed to be. So those are a few modifications I have personally used within my skin type and needs.
And each of the Glimpse formulas you can modify each of the formulas. And again, there isn't really a wrong way to do it. What you need to do is just experiment and find out what works best for your skin. And the reason that Glimpse was created this way is because, as we move through the different seasons, as we move through different phases of life, your skin, although it needs the same nutrients, sometimes the way that you deliver those nutrients has to be changed up just a little bit, for various reasons. You're, under more stress, or you're under less stress, or you're not getting enough sleep, or what have you. But it's very, very important when we're talking about optimally supporting skin health that we make these little tweaks to really keep our regimen optimized. And it's easy to do with Glimpse.
Yes, it is very easy to do. So, and I'm sure we could get into further modifications with questions because I've seen some questions come in. So
okay.
Do you want to
let's answer a few of those. Yeah. Oh, elaborate. Okay.
Do you want to do some of those when we get to the Q&A towards the end, and
that's
then
actually a
make
great
sure we
idea,
can get
Jess.
to the information?
Yes. Okay, let's talk about the mineral treatment.
Oh, the Glimpse mineral treatment. And I'm going to interject here and say something that Misha never says, but mainly because I love the mineral treatment so much. Because really, I mean, I can talk more about the mineral treatment, you know, later, but as far as my own personal experience with it is what I'm talking about. But it really did turn my skin around from very irritated, dry, you know, skin to just, it seemed to be able to, and Misha's going to go into all the reasons why, but I want to just say a little props to Misha, because if some of you don't know this, this is Misha's formulation. She formulated the mineral treatment, and I think it's phenomenal. So I thank her on a regular basis, but I just thought I would share that with all of you. Okay, no pressure, Misha.
Well, thanks, Jess. And that'll do it for the webinar this evening. I'm just kidding. Well, it was really fun to formulate this, and I'm glad that I'm really, really happy, actually, to see, you know, Jess has had so many great results with it. It makes me actually really thrilled because I just love her to pieces. But let's talk about what makes the Glimpse mineral treatment so unique. The Glimpse mineral treatment is a zinc-based product. This is its first point of uniqueness, I will say, because I don't know, Jess, you're familiar with a lot of the mineral products out there. Would you say 99.9% are titanium dioxide-based formula? So to have a zinc-based formula is very unusual. I think for me, as far as when I was putting the formula together, it was really important to eliminate the titanium dioxide, because when you have a titanium dioxide that's powdered, you can easily inhale that powder, and it can be very irritating to your lungs. And we'll talk about more of what to avoid in your mineral products in the next slide. But what makes zinc so amazing for your skin is that it has anti-inflammatory or known anti-inflammatory benefits, and it also has exhibited antioxidant benefits. So you're getting a lot of bang for your buck, so to speak, with the zinc oxide. In addition to that, there are some really great botanicals that really extend zinc's environmental protection abilities, and one of those is oat protein powder. In addition to that, oat protein powder really helps with supporting barrier repair. There's pearl powder. Pearl powder also has some known environmental protection qualities. There's an energizing gem complex. Remember, this is hitting back on that huge energy story that your skin absolutely has to have proper energy production. Proper energy production not only for uptaking those nutrients that are really going to help support those defense mechanisms that are within the skin, but also to really help achieve those visible benefits that we all want to see. And of course, a biofermented mineral complex that is full of trace minerals such as copper and several others that really, again, help support the skin. So those are a few areas of, or points, I guess, of uniqueness that what makes the Glimpse mineral treatment so unique. And these are things that I would avoid from your mineral formula. Titanium dioxide, chemical sunscreens. Believe it or not, a lot of them have chemical sunscreens, and by that I mean octinoxate or avobenzone, others. Fragrance, commonly found in a lot of those mineral products. Silicones, believe it or not, a majority of them contain silicones. Parabens, bismuth oxychloride. Now, a lot of the mineral products out there really position themselves as being something that benefits skin that tends to break out. And I actually do think if you have a properly formulated mineral product, it should help skin that breaks out. But a product that contains bismuth oxychloride, that is a known ingredient that really exacerbates acne, and it is not helpful for those that suffer from breaking out or any sort of skin congestion. It's very irritating to rosacea as well. Nano-sized particles. There are no nano-sized particles in the mineral treatment, and I think that's, again, very important. Let's go back to titanium dioxide. As you know, one of the big selling points for many of the mineral products out there is that they provide UV protection. The problem with the titanium dioxide in many of these mineral formulas is that it's a micronized titanium dioxide. When you have a micro titanium dioxide, it starts to become very unstable when it's exposed to UV radiation, or what we call photoexcitable. When this happens, rather than protecting your skin from the effects of overexposure to UV, it actually has the ability to become so amped up that it introduces free radicals into the skin rather than protecting it from free radical production. So I'm not a fan of titanium dioxide as a way to protect your skin against UV radiation.
Paige, can you explain maybe what nano-sized particles mean for somebody who might not understand?
It's particle size. So a nanosize is super, super, very, very small. And there's a, if you have questions on nanotechnology, Google it. There's a lot of controversy.
Why would you not want it in something?
Well, if you have nano-sized titanium dioxide, it can become so hyper in the sun that it can enter your cell and cause cell death.
Oh.
So that's not what you want. So, and that's just it, Jess. I mean, nanotech is so new, and there's so many possible negative side effects that we just don't know. Mm-hmm. And so there's just not enough information out there to determine, if it's safe or not for at least skincare products right now. Because if the molecule is small enough, who knows where it's going to end up in your body. Mm-hmm. And this goes back to, and this isn't applicable to glimpse, but imagine if you've got some of those skincare products out there that are utilizing nanotechnology, and then they contain, a lot of these chemicals that have been deemed safe because they're not fully absorbed by the skin. Quote unquote. I'm doing quotations if you could, with my fingers. But it starts to become there's a host of problems that can be related to nanotechnology. Okay. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does make sense.
Oh, on the mineral treatment, I don't know if this is a good place to discuss the Mother's Day.
Oh, yes.
And then also upcoming news that the SPF testing has been completed on the mineral treatment, so keep your eyes peeled for the results on that.
Yeah, you'll want to stay tuned to hear that. So exciting. Okay, I hope I don't butcher this promotion. I wrote it down as I remembered it, but hopefully I get this right in the way it's not. But there's a Mother's Day promotion that's going from now until, I believe, the weekend after Mother's Day, the week after Mother's Day, so it's on for quite a few weeks. But I believe it's the toner, the lotion or cream, and one of the mineral treatments in light, medium, or dark. Is it dark or deep? Deep. I'm sorry. So I think it's those three, and you can either get the lotion or cream or a toner, and you get it for $100, so it's a $20 savings. And then when you buy the promotion pack, you can then purchase kind of a gift with purchase. You can then buy the mineral treatment brushes for $30, which is a $10 savings. So it kind of it's a big savings. It's a $30 savings, and there's some really great application methods you can do with those three products. And if you haven't tried the mineral treatment, if you haven't been able to try the brushes before, now is a really, 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 really great time, on top of the fact that it would make great, gifts. So
didn't you just record a new demo that's really up close?
Yes, and I think that will be on the blog this next week. And hopefully we'll have some even more down the road little snippets of, clips, different application methods. Many of you have seen when we've gone out and done different trainings and different ways that you can do it. So hopefully we have a little bit more available. But yes, that is available. The Mother's Day promotion, just want to do a quick little plug because I think it's a really fantastic promotion. And it really allows for people to try the products if they haven't tried it before. So anyways, I thought I'd share that. So.
Yay. I'm sorry, I was reading my notes. Okay, let's talk a little bit about Juni.
That's a pretty picture.
I think it's just fresh fresh, right? Okay, I think I've seen quite a few questions on Juni. How about you, Jessica?
Yes, we did get quite a few questions.
Let's talk a little bit about Juni and why it was created. I think that it was really important, or really amazing for Zango to realize that there was a need for everyone in the family, including children, to have access to cleaner products. I think you've heard, many of you may have heard me kind of really bash a lot of the kids' formulas that are out there. And I shouldn't say kind of, because I actually really do bash. It really almost makes me incredibly angry that so many of the most toxic formulas are sold to children, you know, highly colored bubble baths, highly fragranced bubble baths, highly colored toothpaste and shampoos and whatnot. And their little immune systems in their skin are not fully developed.
It's also hard too, because you see so many kids that have all kinds of sensitivities with you know, eczema and psoriasis, and then they're putting all these ingredients on it. So
yes, exactly. So
it seems like a lot of kids have, you know,
yes,
a lot.
I agree, Jess. So with that in mind, Zango developed Juni, and it is just a way to know that what you're using on a daily basis is pure and clean and a safe choice for you to make for anyone in your family, including your children.
Yes, that you can feel very good about. I think understanding that, though, a lot of the questions that come in are, you know, they do feel different. When you switch to using a cleaner, more natural product, they do feel a lot different. And I think those are the questions that we get. Can you?
Yeah, well, especially I think a majority of the ones that I get are on foam.
Yes.
Yeah, and the foamability is not the same as a petrochemically derived surfactant. It just isn't. It does feel different, and it does take some getting used to. You know, I think, though, with having said that, it's once you start using it and you get used to it, you appreciate the benefits.
Yes.
For me, as far as the shampoo is concerned, now I don't ever have to shake the body wash, but with the shampoo, to increase, and this is something that actually Beverly told me, is to make sure you shake
the bottle.
Well. Yes. Do you have any tips on?
You know, actually that regimen, if you go on to, and I think you're going to give an address for the Glimpse blog,
yes.
right, Nish?
Yes.
But Beverly actually wrote an article, just how she uses it for her hair, and gave some tips, which I think are, you know, incredibly, you know, helpful. I mean, shampoo's a little tricky. I think of all the products, it's the one we get the most questions, because everyone has such different preference and has such different hair types and textures.
Yes.
So hearing how somebody else has used it to get it to work for them, I think can be very, very helpful.
I agree. I agree. So check out the blog. There's a lot of excellent information on there. But in particular with the shampoo, make sure you shake the bottle. Sometimes even add a little bit of the conditioner with the shampoo. But you've got to realize if you're going to do that, it's going to decrease the foam even a little bit more. Again, though, I think some of the foaming issue comes down to usage and not using enough of the product. I actually do a double shampoo as well as using, you know, good sized amount of the product. Maybe the bottom of like this little Arrowhead bottle, a little bit less than that. Okay, on the body wash, I think again really great for body wash.
Yes,
I think it's very beneficial for anyone who suffers from body acne on their back or their chest.
Oh.
I've heard a lot of comments on that with the lavender. Really
I've noticed it's really good because, you know, my legs get extremely dry from when I used to shave or whatever, and I must use when I use the body wash and the body bar, but really the body wash, it feels like they still feel really soft. I don't feel like they're getting that stripped, dry feeling.
I agree. So, it's very gentle. Speaking of gentle, that's actually what I use for my little one's bubble bath.
Oh,
is the Juni body wash. So I love that for him. The body lotion, really great everyday lotion. It's designed to be absorbed very quickly by the skin and very soothing and hydrating. And then, of course, there's the body bar that, again, I think anyone who suffers from really inflamed acne, you can switch between the gentle body wash and the body bar. I'm talking about body acne, of course, and they really, really help to start calming that inflammation down.
And so I think for me, when I've had questions come in, Misha, about the Juni, I think a lot of, I think people are used to hearing so much about the actives and the active components and glyphs and what make them so unique. And I think it's just really nice for me to understand and be able to explain why Juni was developed, because I think it, and it's not going to be in the same way that glyphs was or how glyphs works. It works by different.
Well, glyphs is performance, and Juni is safety. It's kind of like, this is I guess for an analogy, I'll just go to one that just pops in my head. This may seem sort of silly, but for an analogy, I have a Volkswagen, and I bought it because it's good for the environment, zero emission car, very safe. It works really great. I love it. Is it the same thing as my Audi? No, it isn't. But it doesn't mean that I don't love it and appreciate it. But my Audi is performance.
Yes, yes.
So
it's a great analogy, actually.
So,
a great analogy.
So that's the difference between Juni and Glimpse. Both very excellent products, but they have a different role to fill.
Yes, they do.
So,
and if you have any questions, you can send them in. So
I've got slides and a Glimpse blog slide.
Okay. And we have a lot of questions which we will get to. So we'll finish out with the information. So
here's our contact info. I believe everything's spelled correctly.
Let's double check here. Yes, everything is spelled correctly.
I do a lot of Skyping into home meetings, or even just for group phone calls that would normally be a phone call. We can do a Skype. My Skype address is listed below my email. Please, if I can help you in any way that way, I'm happy to do so.
And then let's go to this last log. So here's the Glimpse blog. And again, some of you may have heard this if you've been on any previous calls, but the Glimpse blog is actually going through kind of a renovation right now. You can still access it and utilize it and all the information, but we've had a really great new team member come on board, and she's really helping to get a lot of the information more accessible, and not with our team directly, but we're working with her, and she's amazing. But she's really,
she and Shane.
Yeah, she and Shane are
amazing.
Incredible.
Yes.
So they're really working on how to make that information more accessible, because many times people will say, I can't find the article. It's really, there's a lot of information in the Glimpse blog, and so trying to find a specific article, if you don't know the exact name of the article, can be a little bit difficult. We do recognize that. So hopefully over this summer and by next fall, we'll kind of have a newly renovated and more easily maneuvered Glimpse blog. I know Misha has written some really great articles. I refer them to people all the time. Beverly's written some fantastic articles. She's written some articles on her personal usage for recommendations of products and experiences. So all very, very helpful. You can send questions in. So just be aware of that. But getting back to...
Well, and I want to say Jess has written many things, tips, tricks, all sorts of great stuff, and she really keeps on top of that blog and has done an amazing job.
Thank you. The blog was really created because of really a request from all of you about information and new information that's fresh, and so that's what we're going to kind of focus on. So about the Skin 101 webinars, though, if you go to the top, if you go onto this glimpseblog.com, you will see on the right-hand side some tabs, and one says archived webinars, I believe is what it says, and then you can access this second series of webinars, which covers each and every one of the Glimpse products. And I know you've gone really in depth into all of the Glimpse products, Misha, so if you haven't accessed that, please, please, please go on, because it's available until the end of the month. So starting May 1st, I think it's on a Monday, they will actually be pulled from the blog for future training. I think we're removing them because we have another training coming up that some information will be utilized for.
Yes.
So anyways, take advantage of that, pass it along, glimpseblog.com. I will go back to our emails in case anyone has questions while I open up the question box. Is that okay, Nish?
That sounds great.
I know we got a lot of questions, so let me do, you know how I have to get it large.
You said that you'd had a couple on how to exfoliate with using Glimpse.
Okay.
Yes?
Yes, and thanks for being, yes, I had a specific question come in when we first started the webinar about exfoliation, but I can get to the exact way to say it.
I think one of the best ways to exfoliate with Glimpse.
Okay. Oh, and this is from Bonnie. So Bonnie, this is your question.
Okay, so I think the best way to increase exfoliation with Glimpse is actually to be utilizing the gel cleanser. I think that's a great way to boost your exfoliation, and you can just begin by letting it sit on your skin for, you know, anywhere from 2 to 5 minutes, and if you're enjoying the results from that, you can extend the time just a little bit. You may have heard me say earlier that there are individuals out there that actually use the gel cleanser for a mask and do so overnight, and I think that, you know, I've seen amazing results with that. Having said that, that's not for everyone, so I always urge an individual who hasn't used either of the cleansers as a mask to begin with a shorter time frame and then extend out from there. Also with the gel cleanser, if you're using it with steam, like Jessica has a great trick that she does where she cleanses and then applies it again while
in the shower. So I do it every single morning. I just keep my cleanser in the shower, and then I just cleanse once, rinse it off really quick, and I just do another layer while I finish the rest of my shower. So it could be, I don't know, 5 minutes, but the steam really seems to kind of activate
When you apply it the second time, Jess, do you foam it up before you apply it, or are you just applying it straight as a gel?
I just apply it. The first time I foam it up and activate it, then I rinse it off, and the second time I just apply it straight. Let it sit and then rinse it off.
So that would be
It's made a tremendous difference in my skin doing it every day like that.
Her skin looks great. And I think sometimes there are certain skin types that benefit from a longer mask, you know, maybe a 20-minute mask a couple times a week, and other skin types that benefit from a shorter time period every day. And through experimentation, you know, I think that's how you'll determine what's best for your skin. Jess and I could probably tell you if we've seen your skin in person, but it's sometimes difficult to know if that's really what's best for you.
And if you need any help, certainly take one of these email addresses, and we're happy to work with you individually on finding something that works for you.
Additionally, Bonnie, I'm not sure if you're using the cream or the lotion, but if you'll start using the lotion, you're going to get more exfoliation. Even if you're just layering it under the cream, you'll still be getting more exfoliation, or even mixing it. Again, experiment and find what works best for you. Okay.
So Bonnie actually has a couple questions. I'll just get to a few of them, then we'll get to some other people. But she was saying her skin, and I can actually chime into this too, Bonnie, but her skin dries out using the Juni moisturizer on your feet. Yet it does not with the Glimpse moisturizer, although you do love the moisturizer for your body. So, I don't know, do you want to comment on this?
I'm sorry, tell me that. I'm sorry, I started reading other questions.
Bonnie was just saying she finds her skin dries out using the moisturizer on her feet, yet it's not with the Glimpse moisturizer, but she does love the moisturizer, though, for the body. So, personally, I have to say, Bonnie, I think the Juni lotion is fantastic. I have incredibly dry skin, and I find I do have to add either some pericarp oil in it, or it works really well for certain parts of my body, but I might have to mix it with the moisturizing cream to apply to my feet where you need a little bit richer moisture. So I know a lot of people love the Juni body lotion because it is so lightweight. I personally have found, though, I do have to add some things to it to make it a little bit richer for my particular skin. Who knows? Maybe we'll have more body lotions down the road, hopefully, to accommodate. You know, everybody's skin is so different. If we would have just launched with a really rich moisturizing cream, we could have had people saying it was too heavy or greasy. So I think it's perfect for what it is. So I found that, Bonnie.
I think that I have to mix some things with it for my feet as well.
Yes.
Me personally,
yes,
my feet are...
And sometimes during the year, even my whole body, I'll have to mix in with some other things because my skin is just so dry, and it's really more of a lightweight, clean formulation. So that's just personally what is an option. I understand, and I know what you're saying. It is a great product. So we'll pass along your feedback.
For sure. Jenny's asking about eye cream.
Okay.
And what to do for the eye area. That's what it's hard for me to, I'm not good at reading it.
Let me read it to you, Misha. Why don't you just let me read these to you? Okay. Jenny is saying, and hey, Jenny.
Hi, Jenny.
She's saying I have many people asking me for an, quote, in parentheses, eye cream, and I'm curious how to educate them that the lotion and cream are enough for the eye area. Do you recommend using the pericarp oil with either moisture of the eye area, the pericarp oil with either moisturizer for the eye area? A lot of eye creams promise reduction of dark circles or reduction in puffiness or lines. Any thoughts?
Yes,
Lots of thoughts.
Lots of thoughts. Yes, yes, and yes to everything. You can certainly do any of those suggestions, Jenny. One of my favorite things, especially if you're talking to someone that has a lot of puffiness and visible circles under the eye, is to incorporate the serum. Now, I think one of the reasons that we're all hesitant to come out with an eye cream specifically for the eye area, and I'm not saying it won't happen, but so many of the eye creams out there are actually less concentrated formulas of what you use on your face, meaning that they have less of the active ingredients contained within those creams. And the eye area, particularly for women, is actually one of the first areas where you see aging. So if you formulated a product correctly, why not use the full-strength product around your eye?
Right.
So that's one of my big things with eye products and neck products actually too. But what I prefer for dark circles and puffiness with the Glimpse system is take some of your serum and either apply a drop of pericarp oil or 2 drops of pericarp oil or some of the moisturizing lotion, believe it or not, and apply that around the eye area. What we want to do around the eye area when we see a lot of puffiness and under eye circles is that there's a lot of stagnant lymph in that area. And simply by increasing circulation in that area, you should see a huge diminishment in both of those areas, the puffiness and the under eye circles. Now, some individuals have puffiness and it's actually fat accumulation around the eye, and there's little that can be done for that short of surgery. But for any sort of water-based puffiness or anything like that, this combination really seems to work. After you apply the serum and the lotion or pericarp oil combination around the eye area, then I like to go over it with the cream.
And I myself personally, just because my skin benefits the most from just having a lot of hydration, I always do a second layer or 2 of moisturizing cream just around that eye area.
I do too.
And let me ask you,
I do 2 or 3.
Yeah. And I found I've had better results doing that than I ever had of using any eye cream.
Well, yeah. I'm not joking about this.
No.
And I'm not saying that you couldn't come out with some targeted formulas that were very, very concentrated. And I think that's an excellent idea. But I think that so many of the formulas for the eye area are actually really expensive for the amount of active ingredients that you get.
And I have to tell you, Mish, there's a question that just came in about someone saying, and hold on a second,
Oh, I can't read. Jessica has totally moved the computer away from me. Here, I'll just call out from the corner of the room.
Okay, I don't remember where it was at, and I hope there's a lot of questions, but someone was asking that, all right, I can't see it, but she was really just asking that it says on the package, and so I'm going to have to go off my memory, and I can't find it, that it says on the package not to use the serum or use the Glimpse products around the eye, and that's actually a question we get a lot. It is safe to use. It's just saying directly, is it more leading toward directly in the eye?
It's actually, we had to put that on. Well, right, you don't want to put it directly in your eye, and in fact, I wouldn't take it down over the lashes. That's me personally, because the lashes do have the ability to wick it into your
Okay, here
eye.
it says, brochures say not to use. It's from Anne, so thank you, Anne, for sending this in. But brochures say not to use Glimpse close to the eye, same with pericarp oil. So what do you use on the sensitive area then? And on the lips?
That's actually a regulation that we have to be compliant. I think it is actually in Canada that you have to put that on your product packaging. I think so, Anne.
And Anne's actually from Sydney, so she's joining us all the way from Sydney, Australia.
Woo-hoo!
So thank you, Anne.
Yes. But that is, I will tell you, Anne, it's absolute. I use it around my eye all the time, and I have incredibly sensitive eyes. There have been there have been a lot of formulas. You know, in fact, one of the lines that I used to rep for, I couldn't use any of their eye products because I would just get contact dermatitis so badly and around my eyes from any of their eye formulas. So I feel that they are safe to use around your eye. I would not, again, put them in your eye, and I wouldn't take them over your lashes. Just me. Now, I think some people have no problem with taking it down over their lash line, but I don't. With the moisturizers, I do use the cleansing cream to clean my makeup off my eyes, having said that. And what was the, oh, and the lips.
Yeah, she just asked about the lips.
I used to use the pericarp oil straight on my lips.
I've used all the, I mean, I've
used the cream.
Yeah,
and,
me too.
So
I think it's, just on there. So now we have a lot of similar questions.
As we said, Scott, I can't get specific this evening, but keep your, the Glimpse Mineral Treatment has completed its SPF testing. So that has been completed. It does have an SPF factor. Look for what that is. It does have a PA factor. Look for what that is. That information should be out there in the very near future. So yes, by the way, and please check on one of the, I'm not sure if that webinar is still accessible, where we're talking about SPF not just being about, environmental protection isn't just about SPF. And we had one where we spoke about that, and I actually think it's one of the ones that's no longer available. But
well, maybe we can. Yeah, maybe we'll post. We'll get that information because it looks like there's a lot of people asking the same question. I think we're moving into summer. I know Anne sent another question saying she lives in Australia. There's strong sun there. This was a really beneficial webinar that Nisha did, so maybe we can pull that one and put it in the archived versions as well. But also, there's a fantastic article that Nisha wrote on the Glimpse blog. I think it's called Harmful Rays and Your Skin. That really explains a lot about, Nisha's did a fantastic job at really explaining about supplementing internally as well as externally, which is I think what the webinar covered as well. But that's that information as well. If you have any questions on that, you can email me and I'll send you the link. But very educational. So I don't know. You started to jump in on that one.
No, please, Jess, jump in anytime.
Okay, so
okay, this is an interesting question. I think it's actually, in my experience with skincare, people seem to think that this is more for women. How do you get men to know that they need this also? Oh, good question. I'm going to assume this is from Sarah, or maybe it's from John. Thanks, John and Sarah.
Yes.
But I think it's really important. We're talking about skin health and supporting skin health. It just so happens that healthy skin looks better as well. But really, what we're really trying to address here is that we live, our lifestyle now really demands that we're not only supplementing internally to best support our bodies, but we're also topically supplementing to support our skin. When you internally supplement, it's supporting one structure of your skin, the dermis, and when you topically supplement, you're really supporting the epidermis. Now, you can't really go without either one. You need both to really optimally support your skin. One does not negate the other. So we're really talking about best supporting skin health. And I have to say, I don't want to scare anybody, but there is at least one of the skin cancers that men are much more susceptible to getting than women, and that's squamous cell carcinoma. And really, what they've determined in several studies is that men have fewer antioxidants in the upper layers of the skin, which is why they're thinking that they are more susceptible to this squamous cell carcinoma. Not only that, but men just don't sometimes take the time to be sun savvy. So it's very important that men are topically supplementing as well as internally supplementing. And I think if we all start looking at it like it's a topical supplementation and not just, skin care, it makes much more sense. Hopefully that helps, John and Sarah.
Pegs, and hey Pegs.
Pegs!
How are ya? Thanks for joining us. Pegs has a good question. I think she was commenting. She said, what about mixing both cleansers and using this every morning, both to clean and as a mask?
Ooh, okay. So I love to mix the cleansers together for cleansing. That's actually my favorite, is to mix a little bit of the cream. And sometimes it varies. It depends on what's going on with my skin. Sometimes I mix more cream and sometimes I mix less cream. And I make a little nice cleansing mousse, so to speak. And I love that. I love the way it works. And I think that's great for cleansing. I've never tried it as a mask, Pegs, and I'll tell you why. The activity of the two cleansers when you use them as a mask they're very different. The creamy cleanser, although it's more hydrating, it's also more stimulating. That's really what starts that whole glimpse flush and really produces that very profound, deep flush that can greatly benefit the skin. Whereas the gel cleanser is much more astringent and exfoliating and pore minimizing. So to me, they have two very different activities. And although they work together very well for cleansing, for me, with my aesthetics background, the activity of each seems so different when you're masking with them that I've never tried mixing the two together. How about you, Jess?
I actually haven't used them as a mask mixed together the more that I think about it. I've used them for cleansing. Maybe I have. Who knows? I'm going to try it.
Yeah, give it a whirl.
Try it. Because I love using it as a cleanser. I love that method. And you suggested me originally using that as a cleanser, and I've loved it.
But that's an interesting idea, Peg. So
I don't know
if you try it, let us know. We'll try it too.
I don't know if Peg was adding on to her question, which was saying, is this too much or not for an aged and sun face for lots of years?
Oh, whatever. Stop, Pegs.
It's just right. Whatever you want to do, Pegs. So I had one. Let's see here. Sorry,
okay.
we're just
some of these. Yes.
Do you want me to read these to you or no?
Yes, please. I'm sorry. I just get so excited.
So antsy. Because I actually think this is a good question because I've had a lot of people who've asked this. But Rhea is saying, Nisha, I use the body lotion, and I'm assuming you're meaning the Juni body lotion. Because I actually just had someone ask this question a few days ago. At the morning on my face before going to the gym, and then after my shower at the gym, I use Glimpse. Do you see a problem with this?
Hey, Rhea. No, I don't. If it's working for you, then I think stick with it. As long as you are incorporating Glimpse. Because as I said before, I think the Juni products are outstanding. But again, they're more safety driven, and Glimpse is safe, but it's performance driven. Yes. So you've got to have those nutrients in order to really achieve the results that you want to achieve. But if it's working for you, stick with it. Do you have anything to add to that, Jess?
No.
Okay.
I mean, I think, if something's working for somebody, and as long as they're getting, some of the benefits of Glimpse at some point in the day or night, then, I mean, everyone's skin is so, so different. Bonnie, I see that you're asking if the Mother's Day promotion applies to Canadians. Please write down my email address and maybe shoot me over an email tomorrow. I know you have a lot of questions here, so thank you so much for all of your questions. But if we don't get to all of them, we can answer. You can send an email to Nisha, to myself. You can send one to me, certainly, about the Mother's Day promo, and I'll find that information out for you. I would hate to comment and say the wrong thing. So,
what about Susan's question? Perfect. Is there anything that will reduce large pores? Susan, that's actually a really excellent question. Yes. Hi, by the way. No, and yes and no. If you keep the pores well exfoliated and cleaned out, it gives the appearance that your pores are smaller. But once that pore opening has been stretched out, there's really not a lot it doesn't shrink back up. Even when you know, even sometimes with medical intervention. So I think it's really important. That's why, you know, prevention with your skin is so important. I can't encourage younger individuals enough to start caring for their skin now, and I mean teenagers and people in their 20s. It's so important. An ounce of prevention with your skin is worth a pound of cure. But Susan, for pores that are already have increased in size, really it's just all about gentle cleansing and gentle exfoliation, and just using the right products that really don't exacerbate those sorts of problems. And if you have more questions about that, Susan, please don't hesitate to email.
Scott, I saw that you had sent in an email saying that you couldn't find that Mother's Day promo on the Zengo website. I thought it was going to be offered as of April 1st. Let me confirm that. I do know I am able to tell you about the promo because I cleared it and asked if I was able to share it. And so maybe it's just not on there yet, or there's a possible link. Again, take down my information. I will find that for you. I guess let me just double check that it was of April 1st, but that's to my knowledge what I had down running through Mother's Day. So at least now you know about the special. Thanks for looking into it. Send me an email over if you can't find it still sometime after tomorrow, and I'll see if I can get you that information. I really hope I didn't misspeak, but I thought it was April 1st through.
I thought so too.
So maybe it's just not up yet. Anyways, Scott, thanks for sending that in. I'll look into that. Let's see here.
Okay, Bonnie, so please don't hesitate to email us. I don't think we're going to be getting to all of your questions, but we will definitely want to answer. Same, please, Anne, we see that you have more questions. Please do not hesitate to send those in. Margaret, she's left. So.
There is a question here from Marilyn that I think is actually really good to address because of all the feedback that we get from people using Juni. I think this is maybe one of them, and maybe you could help elaborate to why people are experiencing this.
Okay.
You ready?
Yes.
So Marilyn, you're saying you were originally using the pump on the shampoo, but at Beverly's recommendation, you started using the bottle. And you're saying it was 100% difference in foaming, more foaming and cleansing, which is great, You were then using a half penny's worth of conditioner. You rinse it well, but not to the point where you have eliminated all the conditioner. You still feel like there is a coating on my hair and scalp. And I think, if anything, that I get when people are using and switching over to using Juni shampoo and conditioner from other ones, it is kind of that coating feeling. I don't think there's anything wrong with the product, but it works differently than traditional shampoo and conditioners.
Yes, it does. And it's going to feel differently due to the fact that there's no silicones in either of the products. Or
that you're not stripping it, right, with the sodium lauryl.
You're not stripping it. There's no, yes. So it will feel different. There are no silicones in the Juni formulas.
Yeah.
So it is going to feel a little bit different than many of you are used to.
So I think one thing that can be done is just really experimenting. Try rinsing it further. Try doing another cleanse with your shampoo. You know, for me, I have very, very fine hair. I think the Juni shampoo and conditioner is wonderful, but I use it a couple times a week as kind of a deep treatment. Sometimes I'll leave the Juni conditioner in my hair after I've used the cleanser and kind of use it as an overnight treatment.
That's what I do with the Juni conditioner too. I use it as an overnight treatment.
Because it really does help to kind of I feel like my scalp seems to be, sometimes when my scalp gets a little bit dry in certain types of weather. So really experiment. And if you have to modify your usage, that's how I've modified usage, because I do love how it makes my hair feel. But sometimes it does have a little bit of that coating feeling. So I use it really as a leave-in treatment, and I love it that way. So just experiment. I think you're doing the right things, but they do work, differently. And so I think hopefully at some point we'll have an expansion of the line to, meet more needs. So we'll pass along the feedback, certainly.
Yes, definitely.
Let's see here. Let's get to some of these last questions. And then for those of you who've had multiple questions, again, Anne and
yes,
Bonnie, please, certainly let us answer any of your questions. Oh, Marilyn, you're asking a clarification about the Juni. I usually just have damp hair, so I dry it as well as I can with a towel and apply it and just put it in a ponytail. That, again, is just how I found I can use it for my hair occasionally. So I usually do it to damp hair, but I'm not speaking that that's how it has to be used. So
I think this was actually, this one is helpful from Robin. People that understand the importance of how products are processed want to know if we use a cold or hot processing for any of the body products and also the face products. Glimpse products are cold processed, as are the Juni. So all cold processed.
Yeah, which is a huge, huge benefit to the product.
Yes,
so.
it makes it much, it keeps all the enzymatic activity of the botanicals alive, and it also obviously is better for the environment, but you end up with a much more cosmetically elegant formula. It just, you're not relying on super high levels of heat to get everything to come together. It really is much more of a elegant feel to the formula.
Bonnie, I see that you sent in a couple questions, and thank you for your kind words. You can access this webinar on the Glimpse blog. It does take a couple days for us to get it up because it has to be converted over to a different format and then uploaded. So it takes the team to, I would assume if it's not up by this Friday, look for it on Monday.
Yes.
And then again, these webinars will be up for the remainder of the month, and we'll get some additional webinars on there, as we've mentioned from this call, that may be helpful for those that have questions on SPF or, take other questions. So, okay, let's see here. I think most everyone's had multiple questions. We've tried to get to as many questions that have been sent in as possible. Oh, do you want to answer Shay's question?
Yes, in the absence of parabens, what is used to preserve in the formulations? Well, actually the packaging is part of the preservation system, Shay, because we felt that it was not only important to choose safer preservatives, which we are always on the lookout for a newer and even more safe preservative, because that's one area in which green chemistry really needs to grow. But also we wanted to minimize the amount of preservatives. So it's not just about the type of preservative you use, it's really about minimizing that preservation package. But Shay, what I want to do is I'll just email you what preservatives that we use in the formulas. But chlorphenicin is one of them.
What?
Chlorphenicin.
Oh, you're saying about the preservatives.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
I'm sorry. For a second I looked at something else.
There's a couple different preservatives, but everything EcoCert and very clean.
So she's saying thank you.
Oh, thank you, Shay. Thanks to everyone for taking, again, the time out of your busy schedules, for sending in your amazing questions. It's
always so helpful.
It's just really fun to be able to interact and to be able to give you the information that is most important to you. So,
and then
thank you so much.
Also wanted just to say thanks for all your support. Some of you have tuned in every single week. For those of you who haven't, thank you for tuning in tonight. We had a really awesome,
or turning in. Jessica and I are going to turn in.
tuning in. We had a really great attendance this evening, and so thank you for putting up with some of our silliness. We were just having so much fun. It's been so fun to do this webinar, and I think there's a little bit of that giddy feeling where it's so great to have all of your support and completing this, and hopefully it was very helpful. I know that I've learned so much. We will have these archived, and we'll be working on our next further training project. So
yes,
always stay tuned on the Glimpse blog for upcoming announcements, and certainly feel free to pass in your feedback of these webinars, whether you've listened to them live or in reviewing them on the Glimpse blog. Please pass in your feedback to us.
Oh yes, absolutely. Love to hear it. And again, just thank you all so very much.
Thank you.
And have a highly fantastic rest of your evening. Thank you.
And Bonnie, you're saying to really quickly you want the blog information before we close up. Yes, I will flash the blog information one more time. And Bonnie, you just had a lot of questions. Thank you so much. Oh, did that work? Oh dear.
And at least our technical difficulty was at the end of the evening, which is that's so good for us.
There you go.
There's the Glimpse blog.
So thank you, Bonnie. Again, thank you, everybody, for tuning in. It's been a real pleasure, and thank you, Misha. So we'll see you on our next adventure.
Yes, thank you, Jess, and see you all on our next adventure. Take care.